This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Marriage Be Hard Conversations podcast. I am Melissa.
I'm Kevin Allen Fredericks.
And you guys know what we're doing on this podcast is having conversations with some of our favorite couples about the realities of marriage. Marriage is beautiful. It really is. It's a gift. And sometimes you want to return that gift. On occasion, you want to say, do you happen to have the receipt? Just maybe want to get a different model.
Oh, my God.
And so that's what we're talking about. Again, don't take this as like, this is why I don't want to get married. No, we're not saying that. But we are going to give you the real, the beauty, and sometimes the not so things that aren't so pretty. And so we have one of our favorite couples here. This is our first time like talking.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, like
I feel like I
meeting
talk to you guys all the time.
all the time.
I do on Instagram. I'll be laughing at your videos.
Period. I'm sure you guys have seen them orbiting the Black Love universe. You follow them online with their adorable children, and that is none other than Ashley and Chea.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Greatly appreciate it.
Yes.
All right, so let's go and get started, okay?
Yes.
How y'all meet?
Oh my gosh.
That's a good story too,
Is
actually.
it? It's not the best. Do you want to tell it?
No, I'll let you go.
We love to hear
Oh.
each person's version.
Yes,
Okay.
because everyone has a different, you know.
Okay. So my version is very quick. I was in a relationship with someone else, and Chea was managing him. 'Cause he-
Oh. Literally managing him?
Yeah.
A collective. I was managing
He was a
the
manager
collective.
of a rap group. He was a member of the rap group, and she and I met that way, and we were friends for like 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for 4 years. Very like it was not. I wasn't interested. I think he was.
It'd be
He
like
had
that.
a sneaky
It's
eye.
it's her story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
It's her.
He had a sneaky eye, but I was very committed and very like, nope. You know what I mean? I was not looking at anybody. He was just a really good friend. And then we worked together at a call center at Nationwide. And he used to just like, I actually used to sit next to his ex-girlfriend and would try to get them to get back together because they had just broken up. And I'm like, girl,
You make me want to
he
leave.
really
The one with the new.
But it made us really good friends because I genuinely wanted them to be back together. Like they kept like just crossing wires, you know, like she would date somebody and he would date somebody. And then I was just like, oh, you gotta get. And then I ended up, the girl on the other side of me, he went on a date with her too. Remember with the eyebrows?
Yeah.
She had some thick ass black ass eyebrows. She cute though, but them eyebrows, Lord God. She's a really sweet girl. So he dated her. So we were just friends. And then fast forward, me and my ex broke up in December. My sister passed away. So my sister passed away in April. And then me and my ex broke up that following December.
Okay.
And then I was just like, I'm going to move to New York and follow my ballet career. Like my sister, the last conversation we had, she was like, I just want you to move to New York and follow your dreams. Like break up with your boyfriend. You don't need to be with him. You need to just like be happy. So when she died, I was like, okay, I have to do this. So I just packed up my apartment.
I'm like emotional hearing this.
Aw, don't be, it's okay. Crying on side, an inside girl. But no, I mean, it was very emotional. It was hard for me. And the other thing is, I didn't just pack up my apartment. My ex got somebody else pregnant, and then he left and broke our lease, so I had to leave
Got it.
Oh.
because I was young. And I was like, I ain't got the money for this. So
Yeah.
I had to get up out of the apartment. My ex actually wrote the apartment complex a letter like, I don't want to be with her anymore. Can you please relieve her
Shut
from the...
up.
Dang. He told them people on y'all?
Listen, you didn't expect that.
No, absolutely not. He didn't leave the party when he did. He just told him he didn't love you. Like, boy, I tell you, man, it's crazy.
they
Am I right,
are.
ladies?
No, he saw me at the club the next day acting like he didn't know who I was, and we lived together. But anyways, it's
Oh
fine. I'm
my.
over it, clearly. Anyway, so Chea came over and like helped me move out of the apartment
Aw.
and stuff. I think that's when he started plotting. Now that I like put the story back together, I moved to New York, and then he used to call me and be like, what are you doing? And I was working at a restaurant, and late at night, he's like, just call me and talk to me as you walk from the subway to your apartment, because I got off at like 2 a.m. It was like at a West Manhattan. I lived in Brooklyn. So he was like, just talk to me as you walk home. So we would talk like every day, and it just turned into him coming to visit me and implanting a seed in me called Amira Lee.
A literal seed.
Literal seed that grew. It's about to be 14 years old. That's really what happened.
Yeah, it was a summer love in Brooklyn. That year.
Yeah, summer love.
Yes, listening
Don't
to
do
Usher.
it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
From Greece.
Don't do it.
We all love Greece.
I love Greece.
I
He
do
ain't
too.
never seen
But
it.
we got pregnant to Usher, though, not that. Shout out to Usher. Usher.
Usher, baby.
He used to send me songs. And, whew, Lord. It was fun.
It was a summer. I
It
mean,
was a
it was a
good
great
summer. Yeah.
So what's your version?
Honestly, my version is very much the same. The only thing that I would add to it is, like, there was a situation where when we would see some of her friends, and like I would just, embrace and hug people.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yo, do you ever?" Ashley was like, "Yo, do you ever get like a lingering hug from Chea?" And all of her other friends were like, "No, like, it's just a quick hug, side hug, church hug, whatever."
Church
right?
hug.
And she was like, I just got it was a lingering hug, and I just felt like maybe that meant something. And that was kind of like how things kicked off.
No, do you remember I sent people to go hug you?
Yeah, no, and that's what I mean.
Would you
Like,
have to have
was
a
test.
stopwatch?
Yes.
That's
I was
1.3.
like,
That's 3 1.3s
His
in a row.
fingers grazed my lower back.
Now I don't
That's
remember
what
that.
it was. That's
was
what
intentional.
it was. Yes.
Lower back lower back graze is a different thing.
Thank you. It
Because
was-
you're expecting a hug, and then you're
Yes.
like, wait a minute.
and then it was like,
What's happening? What's
And I was
happening?
like,
That was a
"Hold
slow
on."
pull away, Chea.
Yeah.
And it made me very uncomfortable. To be clear, I was not trying to be with Chea because he was really nice, but I had my mind set on being with someone black. Like, that was just really important to me. So I was like, ew, how dare this half-white man graze my back? No, I'm kidding.
So wait, Chea, were you
That
planning?
lower back is for black people
Right.
anyway.
Yeah.
Get those hands above my rib cage.
So honestly, there really wasn't any plotting that was going on.
Chea.
Like, there wasn't.
Okay.
Because honestly, like, for me, like, when I knew that you were moving out of your apartment, I knew that situation wasn't right. And I
Okay.
also knew that you didn't really have people that were coming
Yes.
to help you do it.
That's true.
And like, I'm always going to help someone that needs the help.
Yeah, I know.
Always. And like, that's something that you always say to me as well. So
To the detriment.
I wasn't plotting until
When
The
plot
lower-
until I was
to the
plotting.
lower
Thank you.
black
Right?
Like,
The lower back glaze.
no,
It was because I came to see your apartment.
It was.
But did we have sex that day?
we did. You know?
Never mind.
That's when you plotted.
That's
He
right.
said, now listen, I got to have that again. You understand me?
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So we would travel back and forth between New York and Ohio like
Yeah.
every weekend.
we had a secret
I
love.
mean,
It was very exciting.
Drive, fly, Chinatown bus.
That was
like,
you.
yeah.
He's very, I don't use the word cheap anymore. Money consciously holds on to all of his dollars, doesn't share them, whatever word that is. And he really came to visit me by getting on a cheap plane. Did you fly into New Jersey or somewhere?
Oh,
Then
you would
took
do
a-
all the
Girl.
layovers and then, oh
To
no.
don't
take
think
a
so.
Chinatown
Oh,
bus. You
no.
didn't take the Chinatown bus the whole time. You took like 3
No, I
train
drove a lot.
planes.
What's a Chinatown bus?
You don't know what a Chinatown bus is?
Like Chinatown buses link Chinatowns in different cities. So
Mm-hmm.
like
I've never heard
Oh,
of
I
this.
really
so
didn't
the thing
think
is,
so.
I
Yeah.
don't know where Chinatown is in Ohio or in Columbus.
There's
but
not. I don't think
they
it
have
links.
a Chinatown
I
bus
don't-
in Columbus
No,
and
it's
Cincinnati
Chinatown because it goes to Chinatown, Chea.
in New York.
Yes, baby.
But there's other Chinatowns in other
There's
cities.
not a Chinatown to Chinatown transit.
But either way,
No,
listen,
it's just a bus that goes. It's a direct shot, so it goes from different cities like Columbus, Cincinnati,
Like a
Cleveland.
megabus?
I guess,
Basically,
but it would
okay.
be it used to be a flat fee, like $99.
not
Oh.
even that. It wasn't even
Was
that
it cheaper
much.
than that back
Yes,
then?
it
That's
was
like round trip.
$39,
Yeah, and it takes you straight to New York, and it drops you off in Chinatown.
Shut up.
Yeah, I don't know
Dang.
if they still do them, but
They
they
do.
definitely do.
Yeah, they whip through those. like, the
Everybody used to get on
mountains
those
and
things.
everything.
Yeah, and you just be
Really?
on this little Greyhound type bus.
How long is that?
It's like 10 hours.
It's like an 8-hour ride.
But it was
on the
probably
Chinatown
longer on the bus
No,
because-
they're quick.
Oh God.
That's
They're
what
like,
I'm saying.
ain't no food,
No.
ain't no
No.
stop.
Hey,
It's
get
Shut
on,
up.
shut
They
up, and
probably
sit
like
down.
stop one time, maybe.
And that's it.
And
That's
they whip
it.
through those Appalachian mountains. Like,
Dang.
they're
And it
moving.
goes late at night,
Yeah.
and it'll get you there like right in the morning, like
Yep,
a little red
7
eye.
a.m.
Shut up.
That's actually smart because people in the night you don't want to. You're not
Yeah,
hungry. You
you
don't got to
just
go to the
sleep. Yeah, you
bathroom.
just sleep.
Just shut
Yep.
up and be back there.
It used to be crunk on them
It-
things.
it would.
I never got on one,
Shut up.
but
this
he did.
This is a fantastic love story. I
This
hope
is
you
great.
guys enjoyed it. Okay, so you
Let's
got
take a break real quick.
very
Okay.
good. So now, from the time of the implantation.
Yep. The seed delivery.
Thank you very much. And wedding is how long?
Oh, 7 years.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
And so during this time, did you guys move in together? You
Yep.
started your full relationship?
Yep.
Because before then, y'all were basically like dating, but not?
We weren't.
Oh, we were
weren't-
lovers in secret for
Yeah.
sure.
But it was like when we had sex, I was like, you can't have sex with anybody else.
They were sneaky links.
Yeah, but I was like, remember I told you I was like, we can have sex, but if you're having sex with other people, you can have sex with me.
Period.
So it's either this or those other little big eyebrow girls. I won.
Wait,
Put it on a maid and want to marry.
Period. Chea, I need to know, were you like, my answer
He
is
said,
yes.
I accept these terms.
I accept
He
these
clicked the
terms.
terms and conditions.
Immediately.
Yes.
He
Scroll,
was
scroll,
Where do I
scroll.
sign? Where do I sign?
Right.
Listen, it
Forever.
was such an easy decision.
I
It
know,
wasn't
that's
even
right.
a decision.
Yes, high five.
That was a good answer.
You
What's
gonna
the
get
end of
something
this
tonight?
at
He's just like, all right, whatever, sex tonight. So
I would have
say whatever I need to say.
That was
You
a
didn't
great-
read the royalties.
Right.
I don't care. I got a record deal. I don't care. I'll never make a dime.
Give me my chain.
I know the music business. I know people who take advantage all the time. I want that thing down there. I rode the bus here overnight. I'll do it, girl. I rode a bus through the Appalachian Mountains in the middle of the night for $39.
I said I want this.
but that's the realest thing too,
Yeah, it
because
is.
I would Chinatown bus to
Yes.
meet with her, and when we did the deal, the major label deal with Interscope, I took a Chinatown bus from Ohio to New York,
Shut up.
met in the exec's office, and that's how we structured the deal. Like
Yeah.
Chinatown bus. We were
Man.
thugging. Like,
Yeah.
that's just how it was. When you
They
gotta
should
get it,
sponsor
you gotta
you.
get it.
Gotta get
Yeah.
it. Gotta get it.
You got to get it.
Yeah.
Okay, so fast forward, you kind of already alluded to this. You were trying to save for, like, you just saw your life vision.
Yeah.
And the man you said I do to was a black man.
Yes. Probably named like Ahmed or something. Can you see me with an Ahmed?
No.
Yes, you could. Not now because you don't want to see me with nobody else. But
Back then.
But back then,
yes, I could definitely be with
Ahmed.
Ahmed. Lock our little baby's hairs up and they be wearing like muted out tone colors.
yeah,
and
there you
shit.
go. I see
Yeah,
it.
those are my kids.
I see it. I
Smell
see
like
this
cocoa
vision.
butter and
Yeah,
incense.
yeah, yeah.
How did you guys navigate that? I'm sure there were plenty of conversations
Mm-hmm.
about that. How does that land on you? How do you feel about it? How did it land on you? Like, how do you navigate that?
Being in an interracial relationship?
Yes. Or more specifically, before the interracial relationship,
Yeah.
like, oh God, this isn't the vision I have for my life, but
Right.
yet here I am.
Right. I know my mom played a big role in it. I remember she actually, it's so weird. You know how you like remember stuff and then you're like, you put in order like, oh my God, like maybe this was really meant to be. I remember when we were not dating, I actually had my ex-boyfriend, my mom, they were performing somewhere. My mom looked over at Chea and she was like, you should be with him instead.
Shut up.
She did.
At the performance?
Yes, and I got so mad at her. Because I'm really loyal to the ground.
Yeah.
I was like, how dare you? Ew. Like, why would you say that? She was like, Ashley, you deserve to be with somebody like that. And he was just living his regular life. But I could say my husband is like one of the kindest people I've ever met in my entire life. And I think that my mom just saw that. And she was like, I want my daughter to have somebody like that. Yeah.
She does come across just very zen.
He is.
And just like, hello,
Just
friend.
don't spend his money. Get a little rowdy. What is this purchase? No, I'm kidding.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. We all know, as we are talking about love and relationships and marriage, that having a third party come in and mediate between you and your partner is one of the best things you can do for your relationship. It is truly just an ability to sometimes be a bridge in communication between you and your partner. Ain't nobody got time to be leaving the house all the time, but we definitely want to be taking care of our mental health. So you don't have to leave the house. They have video conferencing, they have phone calls, so many different ways that you can access your therapist without leaving the comfort of your home. They take care of the hard work for you. So, if you're match with a therapist that just simply doesn't work for you, you just simply tell the platform and they will do the hard work of breaking up with your licensed therapist for you so you can begin your journey of self-discovery from wherever you are. Discover your potential with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/MBH today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/MBH.
So that for me was kind of like, oh, you know, and I think when I started liking him, I actually tried to hook him up with my best friend, one of my other homegirls. Yeah, like 3 or 4 girls. I was like, he's so great. Somebody date him. Somebody take him.
Yeah.
And then I just couldn't, because I knew that I liked him, but I didn't want to.
She couldn't
Right.
shake me though.
Yeah.
She couldn't.
I
Listen,
couldn't
man,
shake
that
me.
stick around.
It was
Oh,
bad
the
habits.
If they
You
just
couldn't
can't
let
put
go.
you away, you good.
Yeah.
Just hang on to the
Well, because
10th
I knew
round.
one of my friends slept with him, I wouldn't
It
date
would
him.
be a done deal
Yeah,
for
I
you.
was like, oh, that's all you
So
gotta do.
you were trying to self-sabotage.
Oh, 1,000%. Hi, my name is Ashley.
Nice to meet you. I also self-sabotage. I'm Melissa.
She was trying to mess you up, Chea. You
I
sleep with her
was.
and you'll be out. Now I
Yeah.
miss out on my
Yep.
blessing, but at least
Yep.
I would have did it on my own
Yep,
terms.
and then I could go marry Ahmed. That was the plan. I had a plan. But my mom was literally like, Ashley, because my mom is divorced. Shout out to my dad, I love him, but she was like, girl, there's not a lot of men like that. And she was like, I just take a chance. I was like, but he's not black and, you know, he's from the country. And I was just like, this is too much for me to like wrap my head around. But then I just started focusing all of the things that we have in common.
Sure.
And it just superseded. Like, those are really the only 2 things. You know what I mean? Like, his family and his race. But our morals, values, interests in life, they're all the same.
Wow.
Everything else was the same. So I just was like, okay, I'm going to just see what happens. I did not have a plan on getting pregnant.
Sure.
But then after that happened, I think it was because God knows I self-sabotage. She was like, what can I do to make her deal with this man?
This is the life I have for her, but she's not going to
She
do it on
don't
her
listen.
own.
She don't listen. Get her ass
Give her a
pregnant.
baby.
Yeah.
I bet she listen now.
Right.
bet you
Well,
listen
I
now.
still try to dodge us after that baby, trust me. But we just was like, okay, that's why we waited 7 years before we got married. Because for me, both of us, both
We
of
had
our,
to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, we had to really understand what it was like to be in this relationship together, but then also be parents
Yep.
and also be like young adults, figuring out our career, just everything. Because she moved to New York, was pursuing her dance career, teaching at a school, and then it's like, oh wait, I'm pregnant. I'm moving back to Ohio. We're living together. It was a complete like derail of her career.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
And I moved
that's
into
what
your
really took a
house.
lot of time, right?
Yeah, with all his things. And it was just weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For me. Because I didn't feel like very empowered in that
Sure.
situation. Coming from a single mother, like for me, having my own money and not having someone tell me what to, my dad never told me what to do. I think it's because he felt guilty because he didn't live in the house with me. So our relationship was never there was no authority
Sure.
over me with him. It was just love.
Yeah.
So I was very uncomfortable with listening to a man, having a man tell me what to do, guide me. Like, just sometimes it was just to the detriment of me, but I just was so uncomfortable with it that I would reject it. As
Yeah.
soon as he made a suggestion, I would just argue with him.
Put
Yeah.
your seatbelt on. I'll die. How about that? I don't wear seatbelts now.
Yep.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
This isn't
Yes,
even like-
it was really that bad. It was
Really
really
that
that bad.
bad?
Yes, it was really that bad.
In the beginning,
Yeah.
it's night and day different.
Oh,
Yeah.
for sure now. But in the beginning, it was like anything he said, I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't even know. You think you know more than me. Like, just crazy.
I think a couple things that you said is really, really valuable. Number one, I think you low-key just encourage black women to just try something different.
Try a little something. I don't want to be out here deterring the sisters from the brothers.
No, I'm not either.
But keep your eyes open.
That's all I'm saying. Be sober and vigilant.
I mean, listen, scientifically, statistically, it is not possible for every black woman to have a black husband. It's just impossible.
Absolutely.
It's just it doesn't match up. So somebody I'm doing this for y'all.
Correct.
You
I
took
did
one
it
of
so
those.
I did it so you can have
so
a
we
black
can
husband.
together.
But
Yeah.
I was just
I
gonna
appreciate
let her
you.
go ahead and finish
I did
it.
it so you can have a black
I understand. I
husband. So
appreciate
black
it.
love could live. You're welcome, Cody and Tommy and everybody else.
It wouldn't exist.
Thank you.
Without Ashley.
Community,
Thank you.
baby.
It is. I did this for my people.
Come on, Chea. We appreciate your sacrifice. We appreciate your sacrifice. I don't mean it like that. It's not a sacrifice, but y'all know what I'm saying.
It is.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. You want a black man? Well, I got to take one from somebody else, so you can have him. Because otherwise, I would have had your
So
man.
really,
Right.
you should be
Thank
saying
you.
thank you.
Me and 60% of the NBA players, we are doing this for y'all. And the NFL
I
players.
seen that video of the draft go viral.
Oh.
I was like, it was like 9 of them
Yep.
in a row.
I believe
Yeah.
I was like, dang,
Yeah.
Jalen.
Just
Hilarious.
trying to help.
Help
So
the
what?
other.
I'm curious, because black people, we be black.
Yeah.
We be in
I'm very
communities,
black.
cultural. There's spades, like there's a lot of stuff, and I can see you being like, "Oh, it's a struggle." Was there a moment, or was it a transition where you were like, "Ah, man, I know what I thought, but this is my person, even though it's not a black person. Because a lot of people be like, never, but and you were that, but then you said, okay, maybe instead of never. So what was that like?
Wait, hold on. Before you answer, I want to make sure Chea answers too, because did you see your life with a black woman?
I didn't, but I would say that I honestly didn't have a vision of who I would be with. Like very flexible, like very adaptable, just wanting to find someone that we shared values with, right?
Yeah.
So even how Ashley mentioned like the morals and the values, like the core of who a person is, that's always what I see. So when I hear her say like Chea was country, it's like that doesn't resonate with me because I know where I grew up, and like I grew up in a place that is very rural, like a lot of farmland, very country, but I don't know, like that's just not a part that I see.
Got it.
Yeah.
That's just
you don't
where you
see your
live.
countryness.
Right. And maybe that's just because I'm so detached from it now, and
Yeah.
like going back, 10, 15 years, I would feel differently because I was definitely like moving farm equipment and like, you know what I'm saying?
You're on the farm, I don't see the farm at all. Get them from around that. Get them sheep in there. On a tractor. I don't see the country at all.
Listen, with dirt bikes and like
and
cow
that's the
tipping.
thing. Like it's a real.
But he doesn't know why it's country.
No, and that's why I say it's a
Cow
real
tipping
thing.
is really country,
Yes,
though.
It's country.
Thank
That
you.
means you have nothing else to do. You're just like
Smashing mailboxes.
that.
I mean,
Country.
Chea.
Thank you. He's country.
That's country culture.
He
It
was
is.
country. I'm sorry, because we evolved.
And I think that that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, going to college at Ohio State
Yeah.
and just
Ohio
leaving
State.
from there, the Ohio State.
Ohio
I'm from
State.
Ohio.
Okay,
You are
great.
where?
Let me clarify. My family is from Ohio. I was born in Ohio. I know nothing about it, but I was born in Toledo.
Oh,
Okay.
toodaloo. Okay. That's what we call it.
Yeah, but it's just I think that's why for me I always just look at the core, and
Yeah.
that's what resonates most above everything else.
Because he also dated a lot of girls with a lot of different skin complexions. She is an equal
I-
opportunity dater.
we
just
went
so we're
across
clear.
the spectrum.
Across
of-
the
Yes.
not intentionally, but just truly, like that's just where it
Yeah,
led.
he just
So
liked
like
all
for
the
Ashley,
ladies.
it wasn't like, oh, I haven't dated a black woman yet. Let me date a black woman. It was just, it just clicked.
Well, I'm
And
the first blackity girl you dated. The other one was kind of black adjacent.
I don't even remember any of these women that you're talking
Period.
That's
about.
right, baby.
Period.
Okay.
That is
Chea.
expert level husbandry.
He shooting
They are
threes.
forgetful women at best. Tasha,
Period.
Renasha, I don't know.
That's
I remember
period.
all them hoes.
I know. I understand. I understand.
No,
I didn't even have ex-girlfriends
but we were
before you.
friends. I feel like that's so valuable because we were friends. There was nothing he could hide from me,
Yeah,
and
there
I
was nothing.
already knew
Completely
all the
transparent.
things that he did. But that actually made me happy. And this is gonna sound so crazy, but I hope all of my daughters marry recovered hoes.
We just had a recovered hoe on here.
Really?
Yeah. Tell us
What a
why.
great husband.
I actually, yes, I would agree.
Because I feel like by the time they meet my daughters, I want that to be out of their system. I don't want them to I feel like Chea wasn't looking to me for like a fantasy or to fulfill some like I
Sure.
never got to do blah blah blah. He was really like, I like this girl, let me get to know her, because he had done all the things and he wasn't pressuring me or asking me to do anything crazy or wild because he'd already done all the things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like we could just be us. And I wasn't like fulfilling some kind of weird childhood.
Fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
How
I
old
love
were
that.
you guys when you guys met?
When we were 21 when we met and started, we had our daughter at 24.
24. Okay.
24.
So then walk me through. You have your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
She's 14, and you guys are adjusting now as young adults.
Mm-hmm.
You have left New York.
Yes.
Okay. You're back home in his home.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that transition, and I'll tell you why.
That was ghetto.
I know.
Okay.
Okay. Let's help the peoples.
Okay.
We got married at 20 and 21.
Oh wow, that's young.
Very.
Yeah.
We
And
didn't have our baby teeth. We just fell out.
Right.
No, legit.
Basically, honey.
and we
Balls just dropped.
oh, everything. Trying to navigate life as a married couple, as young adults, trying to
Yeah.
figure out what you want, what you don't want, who you are not, who your mama told you were, that you're accepting or rejecting. We grew up also very churchy, trying to figure that out. I'll be 40 years old. Hello, somebody.
Yes, you look
And
beautiful.
I just want people to know Ashley's skin. I've been staring at it this whole
Oh.
time. I don't know if the camera's gonna do it justice, but this woman's skin.
Pristine.
Thank you.
Okay.
But I do have a little tinted moisturizer on.
I promise you that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I promise you. Take this compliment, girl.
Okay,
That
I'm
skin is popping.
Received.
So walk us through that, because I know for a lot of couples, listen, there are a couple like really pivotal transitions.
Yeah.
If you get married young, it's that.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's also once your, well, 3 now, quarantine.
Yeah.
Okay, we can talk about that. And then also once your kids leave. We're not
Yeah.
obviously there yet, but we
Yeah.
have lived through the 2. So walk us through, like, how was that? How do you navigate that? And even if there are some remnants that maybe you're realizing from that time that show up 14 years later.
Yeah, for sure. I know for me, well, number one, again, so my parents, they never argued. So I was very confused why they weren't together because they were like best friends. And so I would always say to myself, I want to have a baby with my best friends to be like my parents. I saw a lot of my friends' parents getting divorced after they got in college. And it was like, oh, that's horrible, you know? So
Yeah.
for me, I was like, okay, I just want to be with someone who's my best friend. I had no tools and no idea how to be in a relationship and live with somebody and have a baby, like zero. So I was just walking into that with whatever I thought. I feel like for us, the biggest transition or the hardest parts were, number one, like figuring out who we were. Because at that age, as you guys know, like you don't even know who you are.
Man.
You still have, I was pregnant, arguing with my ex on the phone in this man's house. Just trifling. Just trifling. And my friend, I'll never forget Nalo. Shout out to my best friend Nalo. She looked at me and she was like, "This is the most ghettoest shit I've ever seen in my life." She was just sitting on the bed while I was sitting in the little window in our bedroom. You know me, you cheated on me, but she was like, "You are pregnant with another man's baby, girl. Let that shit go."
How far were y'all removed from that relationship?
We had broken up in December, and me and him started dating in April. So I was with that boy for 8 years. That was my whole life. Like I was like 14 to 21, whatever that math is. That's the only person I ever been with. So I went from that to him.
Yeah.
Only been
And then
with.
pregnant shortly after?
Yes, we started dating in April. I got pregnant in July.
Dang.
I had no time to be me as a teenager, as a young adult, as an anything. I was always like, was in this relationship, now I'm in this one with a child.
Yeah.
So, it was hard for me. Like, I knew I didn't want to be with him, but it was all I knew.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
that
you just try
familiarity
to,
will make you want to hold on to it.
Oh, for sure. I just didn't know what my life would be like without him because I hadn't experienced that yet.
Yep.
So it was just really hard. And I wasn't even trying to be with him. I don't know what I was trying to resolve or like get over or like, you just got to let stuff go.
Yeah.
And I just didn't understand that, didn't know how. So that for me, I think was the hardest thing was comparing the two of them and then just like allowing myself to be with him and allowing him to just be who he is and receiving that. Like that's where we are now in our marriage, which is really beautiful. But I always say like the first 2 years, like I definitely was not in love. I don't know about you, but I was not in love. I feel like it was probably like 2 to 3 years in where I was like, okay, I'm really in love with him. Like looking at him gives me to this day butterflies. He could just touch me right here and I'm like, ooh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that feeling, I feel like that came in 3 years later because
Of
it just
marriage or relationship?
relationship.
Okay.
It's hard because we've been married for almost 8 years, but we've been together for 15 years. It'll be 15 in October.
Got it.
So I still count that time because
For sure.
that was like we were living together, raising a child, like really had a family. So those years matter to me. It's not just like, oh, when we got married.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What about you, Bryan?
Honestly, I think that like the biggest thing for me is just remembering back to what it was like as we were going through that experience.
Yeah.
And I think like one of the toughest things is like understanding what love truly is because my parents were divorced and like my dad is Asian, he's Cambodian. So I lived with my dad primarily growing up. Like, I would go to the weekends, spend the weekends with my mom, but like my dad is stereotypical, Asian immigrant. So, when you're thinking of like that energy, you're getting the energy of like be studious at school, like get your work done, and like we're going to be frugal and we're going to be smart and we're preparing for your future.
Yep.
Not really knowing what that is because again, like he's coming here very educated, part of the Air Force Academy in Cambodia, but still it's a different world,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
So when we talk about, preparing ourselves, even from college to relationships, there's love and support, but there's not real guidance because they haven't experienced it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that was a lot of our learning curve is just trying to understand like what is love? Because to your point, I thought that I was in love when we were in the hospital and you just had Amira, right?
I hope not.
Like that, for me, that was a moment though, because it was like, this is solidifying our relationship.
Yeah.
Like, this is as real as it gets.
That's
but
disturbing.
but
He knows why. You can tell him why. Just tell him. Free
Okay.
yourself of this sin.
so I don't see it as much of a sin, but
Oh, okay.
I had moved on with my relationship with my ex to the point where we were friends, like we were friendly. And I invited her to the hospital.
Shut your face.
Okay. Okay.
You crazy. You insane.
So
That is
maybe
not
it
what
is
I
the
thought you was
same.
gonna say. There was a lot of things I thought you was gonna say.
Damn.
That's not what I thought you was finna say.
Let's make it even better. The bitch came
Oh, my, of course she did.
the day. No, I had our baby at 2:30 in the morning. This hoe walked in there at 9 a.m. Hair freshly done. She was white, so it was blowing in the wind and shit.
Not Farrah Fawcett.
Yes, came through the door, and she's pretty, so I can't even hate on her. You know what I mean?
But
like,
that's just gonna make you more
that
mad.
pissed me off even more because the bitch had a nice body, she's pretty, and she had some nice ass, thick ass, beautiful brown hair, and it was just blowing in the wind.
And I just had a baby.
And I just had a baby,
If you don't
still
get
swollen.
You know, black women.
God.
I will get up off this hospital bed right now and I will fight you.
Okay,
And listen, I didn't see it. Like, meaning I didn't understand.
she
it.
held my baby.
Oh! She held the baby.
We need a time clock.
Chia took the baby.
Chia!
Chia took the baby out my hands and put the
We're
baby
going
in her
14
hands.
years back.
You gave the baby to the old woman.
We
I
need
didn't
to
know. Like, we were
retroactively beat
friends.
this girl up.
Then he sits next to her and proceeds, and they start talking about their old childhood life and growing up together.
So what about quarantine and marriage?
No.
The fact that
Quarantine
you live
be
and
hard
breathe
too,
this
right?
day to day.
Sin.
I text my friends like, you bitches got 10 minutes to get up here or I'm going to beat her ass. When I tell you my friends rode up there right before she walked out the door.
Give me this doggone baby girl. What's wrong
Fuck
with
out of
you?
here.
She
And
lucky she
Chea,
ain't
you
get a
come
bad
over here
pan
too.
across the head.
Child.
She would have been on another floor in the same
I was
hospital.
not, that's how I know God be looking over me because I was not in my right spirit. If I was in the Ashley spirit that grew up on Livingston and
would've got
Wilson,
it.
bang, bang, Ashley.
Once you start naming streets, Chea,
Nick,
it's
listen.
pain. Black folks tell
That
you where
would've-
they're from.
that would've
real.
been
It's
the
only
end.
violence.
Woo. God was looking out for me. He said, not today, Ashley. This is not when you need to be yourself. Be somebody else.
Ciao.
Woo!
Okay, go and tell your story, Chia.
Wait, let's
Ah,
take a
does he
little
need
break
to?
first, real
Okay.
quick. All right, we're back. Thank our sponsors. They gave Chea some breathing time. Go ahead and tell your story,
I
Chea.
don't be letting stuff go. I need to work on that.
The story is not inaccurate. It's spot on,
Okay.
point for point.
Right.
I just didn't see it that way. That was it. And like, I think that speaks to
Yep.
the struggles that we've gone through and just understanding like there's a lot of differences even within the same culture, the
Right.
same race,
Yeah.
let alone like stepping outside and crossing cultural barriers
Yeah.
and like country versus, inner city
Sure.
versus East Coast, West Coast. Like it's a lot of differences.
true.
Yeah.
Like
that's
I
true.
say Hove Lane and people are like, what's that? The HOV? Like I think when I
Y'all
said
call
Hove
the
Lane,
Hove Lane?
No,
You
I
were-
thought you were
That's
talking
it.
about Jay-Z.
I know,
Yeah.
I know, and that's
He
the
said
thing.
he got a lane
That's why
named
I
after
said
him
it
in his rap.
again because when you looked at me, you're like, I don't know.
I don't know
But
what
as
you're
soon as I say HOV, your eyes like, oh, okay.
okay, I get it.
We call it the Hove Lane.
Yeah, I say SRV lane. I never
Really?
heard Hope. I thought you were talking about Jay-Z too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hove, I mean, he has his own lane.
He got his own lane. It's a Hove Lane.
Yeah.
It's the-
What,
it's
what
the
else
rock.
would you
So
say
funny.
when you see HOV? Hove.
I'm actually curious. That's an interesting point, and honestly, I'm always like, what's it like to marry a black man?
Yeah.
But you also have your own culture, right? What was it like for you, Ashley? Because there's some things that Chea has ingrained in him
Yes,
from his
Lord. Mm-hmm.
parents, and it's way like, and that might not be something you expected,
Yeah.
right? Especially if you wanted to have to date a black man. So what
Right.
was that like? Like, okay, I've got to learn about him and his family and
Hmm.
his
Oh,
origin.
the holidays were so real.
Oh, God.
Really?
Yo, his family didn't like me. Did we graze over that part?
We grazed over.
Oh,
it.
yeah, no, they didn't like me at
I,
all.
I would say like is a different. You're right, actually.
Ooh, you would.
You're right.
Expert
Chea.
level,
To
Chea.
an
extent. No.
Chea, see how quick that happened? I
New
would say
character
that you are
unlocked.
right. I
new
would
character
say that
New
you,
character unlocked.
Chia level.
I would say that you are right.
That man, you have to understand
think
what
I
one.
beat him?
No,
What is she doing to him at
this is
home?
expertly played.
Expert
He
husbandry.
said, you know what, I would like, it ain't worth it. You're right.
I saw that. Even if you win this point, you lost.
That man, what's
That's
Raven
the game,
Simone's,
The-
yes,
the eye thing?
yes, can't think of the show, but y'all know the name of the show.
Yes,
I'm talking
yes,
about.
yes.
Raven show.
No,
That's so Raven.
That's so Raven. And her eyes saw the future.
Oh, yeah.
Just that instant. You know what? I would say, boom. It ain't worth it. You are right. You are 100%.
It's because there's levels to it,
Yeah.
right? Like there's love that's there, but
There's
it-
love that's there now.
Exactly.
He has a really hard time detaching present from past.
Because there could be intent,
Yes.
even if it's not delivered in that fashion
Yes.
right
Sure,
now, right?
sure. I get that.
Thank-
They
But
didn't
when
like
you're the
it.
recipient, it probably feels so much different.
Well, when
It
people don't
feels
talk to
harsh
you, they
and
don't like
abrasive.
you.
Oh,
Okay.
They wasn't talking to you in the house?
Honey, no. I would walk in the door, and I'm not going to name names. Well, that don't matter. His stepmom, she used to walk right on back out the back door. I would walk in the front door, and she would walk out the back door.
Oh.
Yeah. She
And
did.
black people in our culture, you don't speak. It's a problem.
Oh, that's like, I hate you. I want you to die.
Literally.
Yeah.
Even if we ain't beef, you got hello.
Yeah,
How are y'all
yeah.
doing?
No,
Walking out, we gotta.
She left. She would go next door because his cousin lived next door to his dad, and stay there until I left.
Oh snap!
No, she really did not like me. For 10 years, she did not speak to me one word. 10 years.
This is no hyperbole.
No.
Chea, how did you say
10
there was
years.
levels to that?
This
the
is
worst.
this is what.
said you're
But
right.
wait, this is what I get from
How did
Chea.
you think that could even be?
Chea, you are a
nuance to
glass
this.
half full guy.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
also
Yeah, it's three
It's like a
quarters.
but
quarter.
also
Glass is overflowing with the 10-year no speak. It's not they didn't like you. Well, what was it then?
That's not really a lot.
you know what? I think it's because I try to go all the way to the core. You right? There's probably something in there that was like,
I get
You know,
it. She ain't trying to hear that. Ain't
No,
nobody trying to hear
no, it was really horrible. Like
It really was. Like, the experience was
horrible. It was horrible. We
not
almost
ideal.
broke up. It
oh
was
yeah,
horrible.
many times.
Because for me, my mom was so adamant to not come in between my relationship with my father. So that's what I grew up knowing, that like, okay, my dad had kids with my mom and my stepmom at the same time. You know, I have two sisters that are 6 months apart. Me and my brother are 6 months apart. We just two different moms in this equation. It was like, and I didn't really put that stuff together or realize until I was older. It was never like none of that mattered. My parents, and shout out to my stepmom, like they just locked that away. It was like, y'all are family or siblings. Like grew up with so I didn't grow up with like, you let personal things interfere with relationships with people. That's also toxic, low key. But you know, that's another episode. I can come back. But so for me, it was really important to make sure my daughter had a relationship with her grandparents. And so that meant me taking her to their house. And I was not about to not go because I felt like that was encouraging that behavior.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, if you want to see her, you have to see me. Because also I felt like for us, it wasn't a good idea to teach them that they could divide us like that.
Yeah.
So we're always going to show up together.
Right.
So I would go, and all of his family wasn't rude to me, but a lot of them were, and a lot of them were in a position that like shifted how other people acted. So when those certain people were not around, they were so nice and loving. When those people would walk through the door, it would be like radio silent. Like everyone would stop talking to me. They would start speaking their language, and they know how to speak English perfectly. Okay. Very well. Very, very well. Type letters. They can speak English. And then all of a sudden they could not. Like it was all Khmer all day, like no more English. So they probably weren't even talking about me, but it was very much a way for them to let me know you're not a part of our family.
It's isolating.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know now looking back at it, understanding his family more, realizing like his father lost almost all of his siblings in the Vietnam War. He came here with his sister and her 7 children. And her husband died as soon as they got here. So he was helping his sister raise her children. They're very close. And you know, war is traumatic. That's a whole different shebang. Now you're in a whole new country. Their culture is so important to them. And all of the men married Cambodian women, but all the women ended up marrying white men. But you already know, we live in this country, white is better. And you want your children to be with whoever's going to give them the best life.
Sure.
Yes.
No, isn't it sad how people just know, like being black, like your life is going to be harder or horrible?
Did y'all see that little TikTok where the kid was talking about, man, it's hard for black people? He's
Yes.
like, are we black? They're like, no. He's
like,
like,
woo! Yes.
And I felt him.
Me too.
Because I said, little baby, be lucky.
Yes.
Because it ain't going to help. Everything is harder.
Right.
We don't
He
get
was
no
like,
benefit.
thank God, I already got glasses. I don't need to be black too. Shit. I felt him too. I wasn't even mad at him. I was like,
wasn't mad.
I
Baby,
get it. I get it.
I
Yeah.
didn't listen.
I get it. So a lot of times it's like racism is so multi-layered that sometimes it is not personal, but it doesn't mean that it's not rooted in racism. And so
White supremacy.
Yes, that's something that me and him had to really work through, because sometimes he would say or do things like, obviously Chea is not actively racist, right?
Yeah.
But there's no way in the world that you could be a white person and not be influenced by racism.
Absolutely.
That is virtually impossible.
For sure.
It's just not real.
Yeah.
So for him, a lot of stuff I had to tell him, like, I know you're not sexist. I know you're not racist, but that does not sound right.
Yeah.
And he would get hurt because he would be like, you know who I am. I'm like, yeah, but he's like, we're at home. I'm like, what practice? It's a practice. Don't accidentally say that shit in public.
Yeah. But that's real too, because like that
I want you to get your
self-awareness.
ass beat because I'm going to have to let him do it just off GP.
Yeah.
For the culture.
Because you brought that woman came and held my
Right,
baby.
right.
So,
14 years ago.
well, go ahead, Chea. I was curious
Sorry.
what you're
No,
gonna
I
say.
was just saying like having that self-awareness or lacking that self-awareness is also like one of the struggles. And that's
Yeah.
why, even now like, I still have like a core friend group from back home. And when I tell you like the group chat and just, some of those conversations, they just don't connect.
Right.
And it's so hard to maybe not so hard to let those relationships go, but knowing what I know, I feel committed to like helping to help bring
Educate
them
them.
along, right?
Yeah.
But
What a job.
Man.
Yeah.
I would never.
It makes me think actually of my brother-in-law. He's from Atlanta. And when he moved out here, we call him L.A. Greg because he was introduced to a new world, a new life, a new,
Right.
pretty much everything. To the point we make fun of him all the time. But
Let me tell you one quick thing.
Okay.
Greg,
We go to
he was
the
in
brunch
hood.
story?
Yes.
Okay,
Are you gonna
that's
say it?
it. Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
go.
No, go.
Okay, Greg was in the hood. He was selling stuff. He fighting every week, all that stuff. He come out here. We going to brunch at Beauty and Essex.
Yeah.
Oh.
He said, "Man, we going back to Atlanta. My boys going to go to the booty club.
Right,
I
get
said,
some
I'm
wings.
over the booty club, man. I like brunch.
No,
I'm a brunch
He was
man.
on
brunch
the,
brother.
yes, he was on the podcast with Tank.
Yeah.
And Tank asked him, like, what's the best thing that's happened to you in your life? His kids, an option. His wife, also an option. Greg says, there's this thing called brunch.
He drinking Bellinis because he's usually an old fashioned
I
type.
love that for
Bellinis.
him.
We went to Beauty and
Yes.
Essex and got the punch bowl. I said, well, he ain't never had light and floral
I
drinks.
agree with him.
L.A. Greg is different.
I don't know if you guys grew up in the hood. You're not giving
I
me
grew
that
up
vibe.
military.
Okay.
Military hood is not hood.
It's not the
hood.
So you
hood,
did
yeah.
not. So just say no.
No.
Okay, thank you.
We'll say no.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not, I agree.
I did. Like where all the doors are painted the same color. You live in public housing. You have to go to the office. And your parents got it. Yeah. That's the life that I had, and it's so like stressful. And it's crazy to think like as a child how you just think about money and how you're aware of all of these things. So I get him because brunch is a beautiful thing. When I got to a place where I was like, not every decision I made was thinking about money.
Yeah.
That was even like the beginning of our relationship.
Yeah.
Me having to ask him for money to buy pads and stuff. I was like, this is not going to work for me.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, this is not going to work. Like, and when we got to the place where I could go in the store and I don't have to look at my bank account first.
Man.
Brunch is amazing.
I remember the first time I just got gas.
Yeah. Oh,
And
without.
just
I don't
because
care how much it costs.
I used to
Yep.
call first, and then online banking I used to check first. Because you take $1 out,
Yep.
and I'm like, okay, I don't get paid till this day. When that 35 gonna come out? I
Yep.
remember the first time I just put it back, and I was like, oh my god,
Yep.
I just got gas.
Mm-hmm.
It was free.
Yes.
It's an experience that listen. I didn't grow up in the hood. That would be a lie. However, my parents didn't have a bunch of money.
Okay, that's fair.
And I have vivid memories, and actually speaks to my money story, which is probably very similar to Chea. I can be tight with money because I recall very vivid memories, like flashing through my mind now. My dad sitting at a table
Tight
and
with money
balancing what
It's a little under.
under.
Melissa and her father have this ability to pretend money doesn't exist.
Oh, that's
that
true.
is in their bank account.
It don't matter.
I'm talking
Really?
about God blessed us. You wouldn't even know it.
Hmm.
Melissa, and I won't say the number. Melissa forgot about an amount of money that would change people's life. Her mind will tell her it doesn't exist. Her
It doesn't.
dad, if you ask him,
My dad ain't got no money.
he don't have
That's
a
Chea.
dime. It don't even, the
I
money
got
in
it.
his account, if it's
I ain't got
saved
it.
for a rainy day, his brain closes that thought out.
Because is it raining?
Right.
that's
No.
Chea.
So then it doesn't exist.
I'd be like, Melissa, do you
But you're
have you
not
ever,
like that.
No.
I'd be like,
I think you need that
girl,
balance.
Look what if we didn't work for 4 years. No.
That's how I was.
Because you don't know the reception.
It's always gonna
reception
come back.
could
It's always gonna come back. You gotta live in life in an abundance. Don't scarcity mindset will have you poor. I'm telling you, like
Yeah.
you gotta give it. It's gonna come back.
Yes.
And Chea be like, that sounds stupid as hell.
but I let it happen though because it's true. Like
Yeah,
it really
yeah.
has.
See,
Yeah.
follow me. I'll
There-
take you places.
because
But that's
there-
why it's good to have a
Yeah,
person.
Yeah, and that's what I'm
Because
saying.
otherwise, we would never do go to stuff. And if it was all me,
Yep.
I would burn it.
Yeah.
It would be gone.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, But them 3 years,
We was dirt.
Yes.
I was on a
We
boat.
just started
all in
on-
Egypt.
was on a
Can't
boat.
take the memory from
Right.
me.
Yep,
Right.
that's
Anyway,
what
do you want the number 3 with fries?
And that's all that matters.
That's all that
Gotta go
matters,
get this stipend and pay my.
Yeah.
Because I remember when tax
Yeah.
season was the only season where we was lit.
Yo,
Listen.
yeah.
And it was gone by May,
Mhm.
but during April.
May. Or like when we pay our taxes, January, February, March. A week later, had some new Jordans though.
Listen,
Yep.
everything was done.
Yeah.
When we ain't had no money. When we first got married, we didn't have no money. We tell this story all the time about when we went to steakhouse. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. This is actually one of my favorite things about marriage is being able to like reflect on how far you've come.
Yes.
Man.
Okay. So for our honeymoon, we were in San Francisco
But let me
during
set it up before the Ruth's Chris.
This sounds like it's going to be stressful
I'm
too.
going to tell
Oh
you
my
why,
God.
Chea. We had $438
Okay.
for the entire honeymoon.
Oh.
Cash.
Oh.
Okay.
Cash days.
Cash days. Too young to rent a car. Because this is why you got to understand how we got to Ruth's Chris. Too young to rent a car.
Okay.
No Uber in these days.
Right.
So we catch a cab
You sure did.
to the hotel. I mapped this out previous,
Oh,
right?
Was it
Oh,
MapQuest?
Yeah.
MapQuest.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Cab is, this is about 5-6 miles. Cab should be about $15, $20. Looked up the rates. Because,
Right.
when you pour, you got to know.
Yeah,
You
gotta
gotta
know
account for
everything.
every dime.
You ain't
What
get
I
surprised
didn't
by
account
nothing.
for, traffic in the bay,
Oh.
waiting time in the cab. The cab ride's supposed to be $15-$20 with tip, $85, and we're not even there. And I'm looking, we on the freeway. I'm like, could we just let us out? Let us
Right.
out. Let us out. I don't know how far this hotel is. Because in my mind, I'm like, okay, it's 85 one way. If it's
Yeah.
85 the other way, that's a third. That's $160 off. That's a third of the money.
Yep.
And we only had really one good. I wanted 2 nice meals.
Yeah.
The cab took that. So now we
Dang.
down to 1. We get to do the roofs, Chris. We get down to roofs. Okay, first day. They give us the menu. Okay, I don't speak French. I said, okay, boom, we can't have a steak. The Ruth's Chris Steakhouse can't have it.
We'll take the chicken.
We're gonna take down the chicken. That's $37.80. Okay, I said, okay, now
remember the
what that comes
prices.
with? What that come with? Oh, it's a la carte. What that? I don't know what that is. I know a la mode. Didn't realize a la carte, a la mode was in the same language. What you mean? It's ice cream? It's a different kind of ice cream? No, that means it don't come with no sides. Our sides are shareable. So what are the sides? $14.95. Hold up. We up to 100 just for greens and mashed potatoes? I said, give us a second. We got to talk about it. She go back. I look at her. I said, if we eat here, we don't eat again. We don't eat again until we get back home. They didn't even bring the bread out yet.
Oh man.
We looked at each other and she knew.
Yeah.
We had cash.
Right.
No more money.
Right.
The kitchen door right here, the little side exit is right out there. We're going to go to the bathroom. We bust almost through the kitchens. We going out through the alleyway, cook smoking cigarettes, put them out, go around the corner to a burger place.
Aw.
We spend $11.
Right.
I said, well, we live.
Right.
We live to eat
for
another
day.
I said, $120?
Listen.
We ain't got it.
And the hotel didn't even have continental breakfast.
No. Oh man.
We was struggling, but we made it.
Right.
But we did make
And then 10 years on our 10-year wedding anniversary, which was here,
Mm-hmm.
we went to Ruth's Chris,
Aw.
and we went crazy.
Amazing.
Bottle of wine,
Yep.
lobster, mashed potatoes,
That's beautiful.
We got lobster, mashed potatoes, and the macaroni. We
Oh,
don't need
you don't
all
even
that
need all that
lobster.
dairy.
Lobster tail on the steak.
Aw.
It was so great, but that's what we always talk about. If we had to go back to the burgers, them burgers were fire.
They were.
Right.
I mean, it was like God was like,
Well,
I know
fast
y'all ain't
food
got
used to
that.
hit back in the day.
Period.
Bro, when you ain't got nothing,
Yeah.
Ronald McDonald he helped the hood get through.
Mm-hmm.
Dave
I used to
and
eat
Wendy?
I don't eat meat, but I would did the little fish fillets.
Yeah.
And then take fries and dip them in a tartar sauce in a
Oh,
sandwich.
man, listen. These were the good days.
It's good.
Struggle
Good
meals
old fish
get us
fillets.
through.
Yes.
Then when Wendy's, they would have their little lint fish.
Man,
Listen,
I'm like, well, that's the good fish
That's-
coming for Lent.
And the $5 footlong.
man,
Whoa.
$5 footlong got us through college.
Girl.
No cap.
Yes.
And a double stack from Wendy's, it used to have everything back then.
It did.
All my friends used to do a little 5 for $5.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
God,
Yep.
was so good. He's
Yeah.
always good, but he was really good at that.
No,
time.
he was good.
I
It
don't know
was
how we
great.
got to that.
I don't
know
either. I was going
either.
to tell a story about something. Well, now you guys can tell a story
Well,
about your broke days.
I don't know if we have any. I mean, we just used to eat rice and beans. My mom is like Puerto Rican and my dad is black, so like rice is like a mutual
Staple.
love language for both of us in our culture. So my mom used to put like rice with pancakes. I don't know what's wrong with that woman. She crazy. Rice with everything. So like for us, we always knew we were just going to eat rice. Remember we were moving to LA? We literally, I'm not lying to you. So this is Chea always is good with a budget, and he always has a plan. And again, me not wanting to listen to the man, I would just get mad. Like he'd be like, okay, we're going to talk about money. I would just get irate. What do you
Just
mean?
the thought of talking
Yes.
about it?
Yeah.
Just give me anxiety. I realize now is just because I didn't feel like, I don't know what the word is, but it was just making me nervous. Maybe because I didn't have any money. And then having him tell me, it's like flashbacks of like, oh my God, I'm going back to the hood. You're telling me we're poor.
Yeah.
Like just the extreme. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that I think that's what it was. I was just very triggered by like the word like balance and budget. I would be like, I thought you had money. You know, he had like a good job.
You're like, I want to keep it though.
I know what's crazy. We were living off of his income. What were you making, $60,000 a year?
But yeah, like barely.
Thought we were balling.
Oh,
He had a house. And we were 24. So
Yeah.
he was really like.
First of all, that's good.
But
That
I was
is,
just a
yeah.
saver, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I saved all through
Yeah.
college, worked to get through college, saved it,
I worked in
graduated. I
college,
had a
too.
little, you know.
Yeah, little nest egg.
Yeah.
I didn't save any of my money.
You know,
Very
that's
problem.
actually really the difference. Is it's not always about the income; it's really about the outgo.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, no, I had a bad income too, though. I remember due to my
Listen.
taxes when I make like $15,000 that year.
I
I
don't even
had some
remember.
job. I don't know. You know, back then people were not getting paid nothing. Like
No.
you were working
No.
all day and do your taxes. You made $30,000 that year. Like, can you imagine how are people living off? People still are. This is actually very crazy. That's another. I'll be back for that conversation too.
Sure enough.
But
We got the whole episode
Right,
lined up for the
right.
next one.
finances, parenting, racism. What you need me for?
Yeah.
But no, he would like budget everything, and he would be like, "You can't, you know, we can't buy that." And that's when I started like working again because I was already working. But then when I came back and I had the baby, I was trying to figure out like, well, I was pregnant. Remember, I worked at the Soup King. It was very embarrassing. Because no one would hire me because I was pregnant. So I had to come back and I had to work downtown. All my friends who had those nice downtown jobs, I was like doing some cheddar bisque, lobster bisque, but the broccoli cheddar soup. Like, damn, Ashley really done fell off.
Pregnant at Soup
pregnant,
King. I mean, it's
serving the soup.
I
Look at
get
me
it.
now, bitches. But no.
Period. Period. Period.
What
That's
y'all
the thing,
doing?
like-
No, I'm kidding.
the journey honestly has been really crazy.
Yeah.
And I
Peace be
think
the
that
journey.
I think the thing is like everybody hopefully has this same journey where you start from very little and then like you see your progress.
Or start from a lot, maybe. We don't want everybody to struggle.
And that's the thing. It's like everyone's gonna have their own struggle.
True.
right?
Yeah.
And it's all relative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You know, the military hood is different from the hood.
Mhm.
Right?
Listen.
Well, if you're black, you just struggle it anyways.
We-
Mentally, spiritually.
listen, my mama
We
said
were
she
poor, we just didn't live in the hood.
Oh.
exactly.
Yeah.
Poor and the hood is another
Yeah.
layer.
But
Right,
being
right, right.
poor is poor.
Exactly.
Poor
It's
is
poor.
And poor transcends
mom
everything.
would-
It
and
does.
poor
And it does.
transcends everything.
Everything,
That's
yeah.
why race. One of the main proponents of race is to separate
Yep.
poor white people
From
black
black-
people,
yep.
because they was like, if they ever looked across and said, "Hey, we ain't really too that much different,"
Yep.
then everybody poor is on the same page.
Yep.
Then it's dangerous.
Then it's over.
We all
If you
want a
give you
hierarchy.
something,
Yep.
ain't no money. I ain't gonna give you that.
Yep.
You're
Yeah.
crazy, but you better than them.
Yep.
Well, we'll take that.
That's
Yeah.
what I was trying to explain to his parents. Like, we have so many similarities, but they really just couldn't get past my blackness. And I'm like, it's literally not going to change. I mean, every time I come over here, I don't know why you act so surprised.
But
Say no
honestly,
black
like
girl.
that's one of the challenges too with like connecting with people who like white people who are poor and they're also looking at like my struggle is the same as black people because I'm poor as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
where they lack that.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
lack the next level of understanding. Like, yes, that is true, but equally, there's a whole different set of barriers and challenges that
Absolutely.
you can't relate to because you have no experience. in it.
Yeah.
You don't have them.
Systemic racism is not
Yeah.
a
No,
thing.
it's not a
It's
thing.
not
No, it's
white
not
privilege. People always think who don't get it. They
Right.
always think because I'm white, you think it means things are easier for me.
Right.
White privilege actually means things are not harder for you.
Right.
Right.
They are harder for other people,
Right.
especially black people, but black women even more than black men.
Yeah,
right.
for
Because you
sure.
got blackness and you have being a woman.
Yep.
Right. We were talking about this last night. You were there, but it was the chef. He was saying, like, I'm in the culinary industry. He was like, it's hard for black people, but for black women, he said, at least I'm a man.
Yep.
Like, when it comes to stuff, like, they might not respect, but at least I'm a man. If you're a black woman, nobody's looking out for you.
Right.
And that's why it's very difficult. And it's harder to see something that literally doesn't impact you.
Yes.
You have to be empathetic to understand your privilege. Like, I don't want to say I want to sympathize with people, but when I was learning about intersectionality, I realized there's privilege for me
Yep.
that I didn't realize. Even to be male, to
Yep.
be Christian, to be married, there's all these privileges that I'm not even recognizing myself. So
Yep.
I can be mad at white people, but I also understand that, boy, you got privileges that you don't even realize.
Yeah.
So we all are working.
Even us being able-bodied, I
Yep.
think that's
Absolutely.
a
Yep,
proper terminology
yep.
for it. Like my grandmother, she had a respiratory disease that left her with arm crutches, and then she was like in a wheelchair as she got older because she had like really bad arthritis, and she couldn't use them anymore. But like even me, I'm constantly like when I go places like this is not suitable for someone to be in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just things that are, or if you ever get sick and you realize like, oh, health is everything.
Yeah.
Like nothing
Yeah,
else
absolutely.
even matters.
Nothing else
You know
even
what I mean?
matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just like those types of things. But I could say Chea, this is one of the reasons why I'm so in love with him, and me and my best friend were talking about this. He's a learner. And that's like to me all you need. Because I actually dated this black guy in between him, my ex and him, like when I was in college. And it was just like very short. Like we went on a couple dates. So I guess that's dating. I don't know. But we were having a conversation. He was black and he was Christian. And I grew up like Muslim and Christian, but primarily Muslim. So I literally went to church every Sunday, but I would go to the mosque, but my mom is Muslim. So like in our home, everything, Ramadan, you know, was
Yep.
very strong, but she still like read the Bible with us, made us go to Bethany Christian Academy on Sundays because she wanted us to have like both. But he was like so Christian to the point, like everything I would say to him, he would be like, oh my God. Like it just was so ignorant.
Yeah.
And I was
yeah.
like, I could never date nobody like that because you're dumb. You know what I mean? You don't
Yeah.
even read.
Yeah, you don't get it.
No.
You don't even read.
He don't no, because with Chea, if I tell him or introduce him to something that's different, he just doesn't respond that way. He's like
Yeah.
interested or like, oh, I didn't know, or like he's quiet and he takes it in and he's respectful of an experience and lets it happen, and he just is like observant, like, okay, this is what's happening to them and seeing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And go ahead.
No, go finish your thought.
No, I was going to say that's one of the reasons why I was able, this is to your question earlier,
Yeah.
to get past that, because I was like, even though he doesn't know these things, he's willing to learn, he's open, he's
Yeah.
constantly changing and correcting his own behavior, and me as well. And like, that's what matters to me in a relationship. Like, can
Absolutely.
we grow together?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's all marriage really is
Can we grow
growth.
together?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can we grow together?
Because we are
it's-
always changing as
always.
an individual,
Yep.
as an individual, as a couple,
Mm-hmm.
in relation to our children, to our parents, to our job,
Yeah.
wins, successes. This all affects us.
Right.
And you take stuff out on your spouse without even meaning to.
Right.
You know, especially if you're not sharing it, you feel something didn't get 4 auditions or tax bill was, now you taking that on your wife and you like, I ain't Uncle Sam.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think if you're not sharing that stuff, then it's hard to grow together if you're
Yep.
not, sharing it at first.
For
Yeah.
sure.
I even think about when you ask couples that have gotten divorced and you're just like, what happened? And there's like, I don't know, we grew apart.
Yeah.
And you realize that literally it's growing, because what you can't stop is the fact that you will grow, evolve,
Yep.
and
Yes.
change your mind on things.
Yep.
One day you like this, the next day you don't. One day this is an acceptable way to talk to me. The very next day I will slice your fingers off.
That second baby, Chea, no, he would never let nobody touch that baby. But
Like-
you can make, like, to that
Yeah.
point, that's a very funny story, but you don't know for sure.
Right.
I didn't realize, like, that's a black thing that you don't even be taught.
Yep.
You just know that. Like,
Yep.
we don't be wanting people to hold our babies like that. We
No.
don't let everybody hold our kids.
No,
Yeah.
and we don't have those relationships with our exes either.
And
That's
that's
not really in our
what's-
culture. His friends will date each other's exes, all be cool, be friends, be at the
Shut
wedding
your
together.
face.
Yes.
That's so interesting.
They'd be all together kicking it.
Black
This- you
people
see, remember when you and Tom used to date?
That is so
Weird as
interesting
hell.
to me.
That's why he didn't think it was wrong
didn't see
to
it.
date me.
No, because like,
I knew people were gonna be pissed.
because he
Yeah.
told
I
me
didn't
like their relationship was over. Like he's moved on. It was very clear he had another girlfriend. She was pregnant, so they're done. Like in all intents and purposes.
And all the homies
Wait,
was
so
like,
Chea,
nah, homie.
wait.
That's not how it works, player.
I have to
Messenger.
ask this
She's
question.
fast on.
Right. Yeah.
Listen,
Basically.
Yeah.
do you
Try to do
live
me
your
dirty.
life very black and white this way?
Yes.
I do absolutely.
Okay.
I do.
I'm answering for you. Yes.
But,
Yeah.
but the thing is I realize there's a huge gray area.
Yeah.
And that's why I honestly, I think that's why I excuse so many actions, because I know that, like, I don't know everyone's perception, right? And
Yeah.
I know that regardless of where they are, like you said, today it may be cool. Tomorrow, if you talk to me, like, it may be a different scenario, right?
Mhm.
It may be Uncle Sam. It could be all these other things. So because I know that there's such a gray area, I really excuse so much.
He
like,
is too.
like I will find an
nice.
excuse for why someone cut you off or why someone like it's like we're just people, right?
No.
I'm about to say, Melissa would be like, you be mad with me.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
I
oh,
don't-
100%.
Be mad with me. Don't try to figure nothing out.
If
We
she
are
has
mad.
an experience and I try to like justify or like give her an angle, like really what I need to do is be like, do you want to hear my
Let's
real
go
thoughts?
kill them
Or
together.
are we going together?
Oh,
right?
that.
Like
Okay, never mind. That's what I
No.
want to hear.
Yes.
Where we meeting up?
Yes.
Let's slice them.
That is also though. That is also
gang.
part of
Gang,
marriage
gang.
because men come in and they want to fix.
No, nobody asked for that.
And I'll be like, Kev, our therapist told us, like, get down in the hole with her.
Yes.
And I tell Kevin this all the time, like, I know you want to come in and fix, but sometimes, at least for me, it feels dismissive.
Thank you. It is.
And so it's like, oh, I'm sad about this. And now well, let's just patch it up.
Yeah.
No. I want to talk about that. It hurts.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that. It's sad. And
I'm
I wanna-
bleeding.
Yeah, and I'm bleeding. I want to tell you about how it happened. And then in 10 minutes, I'm going to tell you again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because maybe I had a different revelation.
Oh, girl.
And then
Yeah.
the Band-Aid, the blood's going to bleed through the Band-Aid. So I'm going to want to talk about it
Yep.
again.
Yep.
Like, I want to
I'm
do all
getting
of that.
hot.
Yeah, I need like 3 days.
No,
I think
for sure.
Yeah.
This was really, I think for men, at least for me, I don't know. She might be different, but maybe he
He's
won't
probably not.
we are taught to fix, protect, move on, and it's hard to do that and dwell.
Okay.
Right. So COVID robbed us of our house basically because we're in entertainment. We have non-traditional pay stubs and all that stuff. You guys
Yep.
get that. So obviously we didn't think that was happening. We put down payment down. Our income hadn't even changed at all. Right. But except the tour got canceled. So the mortgage company was like, we're not doing non-traditional things. It's got to be W-2. And I'm like, well, y'all knew we wanted W-2.
Right.
Look at we have the cat, whatever. And then the whole merch company went under, right? The whole thing went under. So we lost our house, right? And we had been building. Melissa had all the furniture in the current house that was already small.
Girl.
I mean, to the walls, boxes all up through the because we getting ready to move.
Right.
We were moving in like 6 weeks. And it all happened within basically 2 or 3 weeks, it felt like.
Wow.
So, and we also had given our 30-day notice or 90-day notice from where we were. And we couldn't stay there anymore. We had outgrown it, and they were raising the rent like crazy. Melissa's going through it, right? We all really wanted this house, but she was like dreaming it and building it. I'm like,
It had significance for me because we had moved to LA on like a dream and a prayer.
Right.
You know?
Same.
And so when you move and you're able to like, especially in LA, you're able to like afford a home. I mean, you
Girl,
guys just
we just purchased a house.
you
Yes.
made it.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
It
such
took
a
us 5
hu-
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's such a huge accomplishment. You're like this move is complete.
Yeah.
You know, like we did it. We moved here. We're able to purchase a home. Like this has such significance for me. Like we did it.
Right.
And then as a man, I'm like, I have those feelings, but I have plenty of history of compressing my feelings to get the job done.
Got it.
So I'm like, well, we have to move.
Yeah.
We can't just sit up in here and be sad. I
Right.
am sad, but we only have 3 weeks. Melissa was like, I can't look at houses. I can't do it
I didn't
anymore.
wanna look at
Yeah,
houses.
it's
I can't. And I'm
draining.
like,
Yeah.
dog, okay, you don't feel like it. Here's houses. I go out and find them. But to me, that felt like I'm going to make sure we're good out of bad. To her, that felt like you don't even care how I feel.
Yeah.
You just dismiss me. And I'm like, girl, I care, but we got to live.
Yeah.
Like we're going to be sad here until we are out on the street. And obviously she's not, she knows eventually we're going to have to do something,
Yeah.
but she couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I didn't see the like, I know that sucks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cause all I had to do was when she was like, "You right." If I would have taken one day and been like, "Girl, I know this sucks. I
Yeah.
know I feel bad too. I'm sad. We was dreaming about it. I really owed you that. I apologize. Not apologize, but like,
Yeah, you know what I
this
mean.
really
Just
sucks,
connect
man.
with her feelings.
Yeah, let's have a day or two and eat ice cream and just let's go pee on the mortgage company. Let's do something to get back. Then we could have been in together.
Yeah.
But my answer was like, here's this house. It's bigger. Here's this price. It's
That's
cheaper.
just how
Here's
we
I do.
are.
You know what I'm saying? And
Same.
that's. But now I would not make that exact mistake. I like to make new mistakes.
Oh, deviations of a mistake. That's really the same mistake, but it's different for me.
Very
it's different.
different.
Is it?
Girl,
it's
I
different.
didn't do that.
But
I
here's the
didn't do
crazy
that
thing is that
Chea.
you were more stable than the mortgage company at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
like-
100%.
What is
That was a
happening to
word.
you today? Boy!
That was
You
re-
are some bullshit.
That was a revelation.
Chea, you are a repeat offender.
Oh, she
How
got that.
dare you?
But if we don't make the exact mistake
is
the
the
exact
same-
same
Oh
way,
It's the
my
same to me.
God.
It
it's
is
not
the same
the
to me.
concept.
But
really,
It's
it's
not.
like math. If you get the concept, you get it. If you
Yeah.
don't, you don't.
Well,
2.1 is
y'all
different
don't
than
get the
2.2.
concept.
No, they never get the concept.
You don't get the concept.
I
Stop
got
it.
that problem wrong, but I'm gonna do
Right.
this right.
No.
I'll never do that exact thing wrong.
Let me tell
And
wait.
I'm sorry.
No, stop.
Yes.
Just stop. I hate I'm sorry. I'm very different. Please don't apologize to me. Just don't do the shit again. Like, I don't want to hear it. That's why I tell my kids, you done said you're sorry for the same thing 5 times, so you are not sorry. You do not mean it. Don't say it to me no more.
I want you to repent. You know what that means?
Yes.
Turn away.
Turn away! Turn away
From your wicked ways.
Yes.
behavior.
I'm going to put that on the wall in our new house. I am. Watch, you're going to see it on Instagram. I'm going to quote you too, not
Yeah.
the Bible.
No, that's so real. It's a because this is what it is. If the problem is 5 plus 2, he'll say 8. No, it's 7. Got it. 5 plus 2, 7. Bingo, I got it. What is 3 plus 2 plus 10 minus 7? Hopefully that also equals 7. You understand the point?
Yeah.
13. No, you don't understand. See, it's still 7.
You don't even got to do that.
It's
5
still
plus
7.
2 is 7. What's 2 plus 5? 8 again.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
No, baby, it was the same. No, it's 8
not.
again.
It's different.
It's
That's-
different.
What's 10
Chea.
minus? No, I don't know.
You know what? I don't know how you are, but I feel like he has a hard time taking my criticism at times because I'm always right. This is a real thing. It is a burden.
It's a burden.
It's a
Come on,
burden.
it's heavy. It's so heavy.
It's heavy. Always being right. Because people resent you for it. And they feel like this time she's not going to be right. So I'm just going to argue. Nah, I was right again.
No, you know what it is? It's kind of like
I get this at my soul.
you know when you're right, but you could be right about the important things, but you don't have to say that you're right about the little things. Like when you're in the class with like the really, really smart advanced kid. Like I used to be that kid, right?
Yeah.
So I'm very familiar with that, but I'm not anymore, right?
You ain't even gifted and talented no more?
Not
You
in this
back
Not
regular?
that's
relationship.
how I walked in.
So
He back in regular school?
Yeah.
so now
Hey, Chea, go back with them people.
her hand's always up answering all the little questions, right? And it's like
See them hating.
you don't have to answer every question.
Yeah, I do.
Because we know you're right,
I
and
know.
that's cool.
I'm a Capricorn.
But like, you don't have to tell me that you're right
Sure I do.
on everything.
Yeah, I do.
And that's what it is.
He hates it, and I love it. And I'll tell you why. Because Chea is always right about certain things, especially financial, blah, blah. But like in life, I just have a gift. I'm always right about people. Say I've ever been wrong.
No,
Anybody
you're
we
always
met, I'll be
right.
like,
Right
that is a
about
horrible ass
people, too.
person. They're a liar. It don't matter
And
if it
I'll
takes
find
5
a gray
weeks
area where they're like, okay.
and they do some, and I'll be like, one time I told you. Always, anything, any situation, and I'll be like, I'm telling you right now, and then I end up being right, and he doesn't want to listen. But that's always a point of contention for us, because to me, what it feels like is him not respecting my authority and my intelligence, and I think it's rooted in you living with your daddy and not having your mom. Same, I think we're the same person though. See, because I grew up
for
with a
you with
single
your mom.
Mom. He grew up with a single dad.
Sure, I
He
get
didn't
it.
have no woman telling him what to do, and
Sure.
his mom babies him to this day. Her
Yeah.
little bubby. But same with my dad.
Yeah.
You know, that guilt of not being the primary parent. But then people don't realize there is a deficit, because if you don't grow up having a man or a woman authority over you, especially as a man having a woman authority over you, a black woman authority over you, that's really hard to take. It's a lot of men like that. Like they don't want a black woman telling them what to do. I'm not saying Chea doesn't all the time, but I do think that was a point of contention in the beginning. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think he still be like, I just want you to listen to me. You know what I mean? And I probably should.
I also think some
That's
of it
my
is
truth. Should probably
patriarchy
listen.
as well.
Yeah.
I feel like for Kev, it comes down to it's ego.
Yes. It's the male ego.
It's ego.
1,000%.
Yeah.
It is so hard for my mind to tell me I'm not right. I am the
No.
best at everything. I'm the best at taboo, racing, open heart surgery. Show me how one time. I bet y'all do it.
That's Chea.
I don't need to
He
do
gonna
it. Go to
YouTube
school.
it. Oh, you're bleeding out? Hold on, let me.
Oh, that's
Hold
me
on, put
too,
this
though.
right. I got it.
I can
also
save your
for-
life right
Right
Amir,
now.
die right now. I will save your life.
For me, the problem is what you need. Like, okay, let me use Kanye as an example.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
It'll be okay.
Whoa.
When you watch his documentary, they was telling him he had to have an
Yep.
insane ego
Yep.
to push through to be who he thought he
Yeah, I
could be.
remember
Yeah.
we said that. Yeah, I
The
was like,
problem is, at some point, what you used to do it don't apply anymore.
Right.
You hear, people don't believe in me. Boy, you got music, fashion, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Same idea. So for me, it was like, you got to grind, you got to push, you don't got to listen to nobody. People tell you can't do it.
Right.
You do it this, blah, blah, blah. And then it works.
Right.
Yeah.
And then when it works, how you going to tell me it didn't work? Because
Right.
here's the proof.
Ooh.
Here's what we're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
How you going to tell me it doesn't work? But now what I learned, what used to work doesn't mean it's going to always work.
Right.
I think that's a message for both of us. Yeah, I know that resonates with me too, though.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do better at listening to my husband.
See how her voice went all the way down?
She was feeling it.
She said, I need to do
That might not make the cut, actually, because it went really, really, really quiet.
The sound kind of
You
went
go
out right
back
there.
and when you edit it, punch
Just
the
make sure we
volume
boost
up.
that.
Listen to your husband.
200%. But I think what we've talked about, the common theme, and this is really the point of these conversations, if you want to have a good marriage, it's an active process.
Yes.
You will never get to the point where you know that person for sure.
That's true.
Because they're always changing. And I think the grow apart thing, people sometimes, like, this is going to sound bad, but don't take it this way. People got divorced after 20, 30 years and like, I just couldn't do it no more.
Over after the pandemic or just now?
In general, after the pandemic. But people people don't want things to be hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're like, I don't want to learn this version of you.
Yeah.
I don't want to be more vulnerable. Like, I would rather be alone or be with somebody else who allows me to not have to grow.
Right.
To say I want to be married for my life is a commitment to growth forever.
Yeah.
To have a healthy relationship. You can be married, but to have a healthy relationship, you are signing up for continual growth and learning. And some people like, I dropped out of college. I don't want to learn no more. I want to go to my job and I want to retire. I don't want to learn
That's
nothing.
deep. That's real.
Yes.
And the
That's
crazy
real.
thing too is like, you know, I've said this a number of times, but with all of the people in the world, like I know that I could probably find another woman in another relationship where it would meet maybe
doesn't
85,
Okay.
80% of like what this relationship is, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And that sounds crazy
Yeah.
because that's a really good score, right?
Sure.
And people could find happiness
That's
in
an egregiously high number.
and it
Maybe
may be.
50.
But the thing is like fine tuning it and like you said, growing it and really making it to where our relationship is. That takes work,
Yeah.
and
It
it takes continual work. Not
That
like
15% gonna
Yeah.
be the rest of your life.
oh,
You
and
gonna
it's
be-
fluctuating. It's
Yes.
like the bank account, you know. Like
Yes.
we were like not paying attention to any finances for a while.
Yeah.
And then we bought this house, and now we're like,
Listen to me.
How much is that time?
And I think for me, listen, you have tough days. You'd be like, do I even want to do this? How do I want to do this? What would my life look like? And the thing for me is, I'm not getting no Ruth's Chris story again.
Right.
You're not getting no walking bikes together. Like, if 20 years of inside jokes.
Right.
I don't have 20 more. And
No.
also, if I'm gonna still have to learn you and your family, I know Melissa, mama, and daddy.
Right.
I already, oh, mama trippy. She ain't even gonna like that.
Right.
I know your sisters are like my sisters. Like they were 12 and 14 when we started dating.
Wow.
Like my own sister was like,
Wow.
you don't remember life to 6. So
Yeah.
it's like only 6 or 7 years of not knowing me. Like,
That's crazy.
I'm not giving all that up for a 15, 20, 30%.
No,
Like,
never.
I'd rather stick it out
Yep.
in this 100%
Yep.
and be all the way in because I'm going to be with somebody else. Like, man, Lisa probably would have did this.
Yep.
That's how I feel with Chea. Like, I feel like, oh my God, I'm not going to leave him. You know what I mean? Like, I just know that
Yeah.
in my spirit. And I could not imagine getting remarried. I don't even be wanting to be married. Not in a sense of like, you know what I mean? But I am not a long-term commitment person. Like, trying to pick the stuff for the house, I was like, oh my God, this is very permanent tile in the shower. What if I change my mind? Like, that's kind of how I am about everything. He knows I change my mind about everything. So for me, even to be with him, like, that is just something that is in my soul. And I also feel like Chea and I knew each other in another lifetime. There's just a calm that I have with him. Well, I did get a reading, and someone told me that he was my sister in a past life, and he came here as a man to help me fulfill my destiny of helping women. And then we have 4 daughters. So I do believe that.
Wow.
I know it's really creepy.
Wow.
But remember when I met you and I was like, you have like a feminine energy. What I meant by that is that I feel comfortable with women. Immediately, like with you, but then with you, it's still a little guard. Like,
Yeah, I
he's
get
a
it.
man. It's
Yeah,
weird.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Men are weird. But I just feel safe with women. But with
Yeah.
him, I felt safe with him. I didn't have that guard up with him ever. It was like there's a safety and a sense of like, I know Chea's heart.
Yeah.
And I know who he is, the core of him. And there's some stuff that I know he just would never do because I know how much he respects me. And I know how we communicate, where he is going to have conversations with me before anything ever gets to a place where it doesn't need to be. And that just makes me feel like That's my person.
Yeah.
So even if he does stuff that annoys me, which is probably every day, but everyone annoys me, I think knowing yourself is important too.
Yeah. You know what this might not be a great analogy, but it just clicked in my head when you were saying that. When we learned math, we all around the same age.
Right.
Carrying was the thing. You did 13 plus 4, you carry the 1, right? When our kids are doing math.
You wouldn't carry on that, but that's fine.
13 plus 4?
I mean,
'Cause it was just 7. You would bring the 1 down.
See, I told you I didn't know
13
the math.
plus 8.
There you go.
7 plus 7.
Well,
You'd
we
carry
could say 13 plus 8 is
13
a
plus 8.
perfect
I don't
example.
want you to be right.
Okay.
8 plus 13. 8 plus 13 you would
Got it.
carry, right?
Uh-huh.
When we're teaching our kids, right? I mean, when our kids are learning math,
Yeah.
they don't call it carrying, and they don't even do it the same
They
way.
sure don't.
So they're like, "Oh, this is Common Core. This is regrouping because we don't want you. That's just rote memory." And I'm like, rote memory ain't never hurt nobody.
Right.
As long as I get to the answer. And I realized I checked out. I don't want to learn how to do this again. Listen to your teacher, right? Something as simple as that. I don't want to learn how to do that again.
Right.
Yeah.
And in order to be married, you got to learn how to, it's regrouping now.
Yeah.
You got to regroup. You can't do this. You got to show your work. That's a lot for what? I
Right.
know the answer, right? But your spouse is going to demand you to learn how to regroup.
Yeah.
What you did, and when times were different then, I was different then, she was different then.
Yep.
fine,
Can
everything.
I also say this though, that sorry, I didn't mean
No,
to
you're
cut you
all
off,
right,
but
baby.
it's piggybacking off your point. I do agree that we're different, but I think in some ways we are who we are, but sometimes we're undiscovered.
Oh, yeah, I
That's
like
good.
that.
I
Putting
think
that on
when
my
you
wall,
were
too.
listen, I think when you're 20 years old and you get married, there may have been things that bothered me. I didn't have the language to say.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know why it bothered me.
Yep.
I didn't know how to articulate it. I didn't know how to have the conversation. Like there was a lot of I think you just said this. There was a lot of self-reflection, self-growth, introspection
Yep.
that has to happen for me to realize okay, remember this back then? You just did it again 15 years later.
Right.
And I need you to understand why this bothers me.
Right.
Yeah.
And I just simply at 20 years old couldn't say, oh, this is a trigger for me because it's tap dancing on this insecurity because I watched my parents do this.
Yep.
And because I watched them do this, it affects me this way. And when you did that, it reminds me of that, which makes me feel this way. And now I'm angry.
Right. You don't have those tools
I
at
don't
20.
have them tools
That
at
is
20
You
years
just get
old.
mad
You just get mad.
or call
and you
them a
don't
name.
even know why you mad.
No.
So I can't help you because I don't know.
But
Exactly.
we don't know.
We don't
We
know.
don't know. We just know what we feel. That's why people always say how you make people feel is often more important than what you say. People remember how you make them feel,
Yeah.
not what you say. Because it's like the feeling, that's the triggering part. But I always tell Chea, I don't know who I am sometimes. I'm going to wake up somebody different. You just got to be okay with it.
I
Say
saw
goodnight
this
to me.
tweet.
I'm going to wake up somebody else player.
That's how I feel.
I saw this tweet. This
Me too.
Melissa, she has these times. She done said on the podcast, so it's not new information.
What you finna say?
I'm going to tell you. This girl was on Twitter. She was like, oh, the man was saying, man, my wife be mad all the time. I don't even know why I'm mad. She was like, I'll be mad at myself. Like, why you got an attitude now?
Oh, let me tell you something.
Me too.
Me too.
That's me.
Don't
Did I
nothing
send you that? I
piss
feel like I
me
did.
off more than me being mad and not being able to unmad myself.
Girl, don't you feel like a crazy person?
Girl, just snap out of
Yes.
it.
And then when they be telling you stuff, you know they're right, and then you
Oh.
just cannot get over.
I just can't.
I have a child like that. That's why she's really near and dear to my heart because I understand her because she acts just like that. But at the beginning of January, I was about to start my period, and I was like, oh, I'm not used because I just stopped
Oh, the
breastfeeding.
relationship was over. The marriage was going to
I
end.
was
In
done.
January?
Because I just stopped breastfeeding in December, so my period came back with a vengeance, and I didn't remember. So I was so mad at him, like, oh, I hate him. We're definitely not married anymore. I've never had this feeling about my husband ever again, but I want to cut him in his sleep. And I started my period. I was like, oh, baby, it's fine.
It's fine.
Dog.
It all makes sense now.
Chea.
It's totally okay.
Let me tell you something. In my old age, I don't even need the Flow app.
I tried to
I'd be like,
You can sense it in the air.
she pissed off. She about 3-4 days.
Listen.
3 or 4 days before that first drop, I'm gonna piss her off. Don't even have to. Oh, you opening the door? Whoa!
I didn't
Yeah.
used to be like
I got
that.
about 3-4. Listen, you didn't.
I didn't used to be like that, but
I've
at this,
always been
at
like
this
that.
40 years old, I'd be like,
This ain't even period
That
related.
sound like me.
But let me tell you why
I'm about
family's
to be 40,
important.
so maybe that's why I should.
telling
I don't
you.
know.
Knowing somebody's family can help you, right? Melissa's mom, love her. She's like a mother to me. She'll give her life for me. If she came in that house and that kitchen wasn't clean and y'all sleep, You will never know peace. We came home last night. Melissa had told the boys to clean the kitchen.
Just straighten
Well,
it.
how old are they?
14 and 16.
Oh, yeah, that's that age.
She came home and you opened the garage and she saw a pot. Everybody's getting up.
Yes.
She hadn't even
did.
got around the corner.
so mad.
She knew from one pot
That'd be me.
being a ride.
Mm-hmm.
And but then the boys knew. She busted the door. He said, I know. I know. You told us to clean it up. Our oldest, he got her heart. You know what? You is right.
You know how
I'm
to
going to go
calm her
downstairs.
down?
I'm going to go downstairs. You ain't got because she came in with, might as well bust a shotgun through the door. Hey, hello. I love you.
Listen.
I'm going to clean that kitchen.
The way I stress my family out about cleanliness, I feel like Chea, poor baby, like he has OCD too, but I think his might be like
Oh,
what
her
is it?
energy will sway the room
Oh.
so quickly.
I'll be ready to.
Everybody.
I mean, if I open the door and I just smell the wrong smell, it's over for everyone in that house. Rage cleaning.
Oh,
What
yes.
is- I read it. That's a real thing,
I
though.
believe it.
Melissa's mom,
Yes.
she
I
used to,
grew
when
up
she
that way.
cleaned,
Me too. My
I
mom
grew up
can't
that
pick
way.
me
I
up
would
from
never
school.
disrespect my family like that.
Listen.
When Melissa cleaning and talking to herself,
Yep.
it's hell for y'all.
Oh, my mom
See, y'all
came
don't
and
even
picked
do. I'm
me
doing a
up from
bad job with
school,
y'all.
made me clean the kitchen, and took me back to school.
That's the, yep.
She was like, "Oh,
That is
you thought I was playing?"
Yep.
Yeah, because she was a paramedic, so I thought I could get away with it. So she came home and was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh.
Came and got me from school,
Sure enough.
made me clean the kitchen,
That's
and took my ass back to school.
crazy.
Because
That's
there
what
is
I grew up
no
with.
one pettier than a black mom
Yep.
who told you to clean up and you did not.
Oh
Yep.
my God.
The trash bag.
Oh.
I just told my little kids the other day, they're 6 and 5. I said, the next time I find something on the floor, I'm not saying nothing, I'm just gonna throw it in the trash.
That's me.
No, mommy. The how
Oh,
quickly
my-
they got up off that bed.
My throwaway spirit is strong.
I
She throw my
just
stuff
be
away.
like,
I throw,
everybody.
if it's on the floor, you
It's-
didn't want it.
Yeah. Thank you. It's for the streets.
It's for the street.
streets.
Bye.
Oh, okay, Chea. What's happening?
I have no clue.
What is
Ooh,
that?
fire song there.
How did Too Short
Pimp
pimp
the
that
hoe?
hoe? Come on.
Huh?
Was that a song you started playing?
Yes.
Oh.
That was your ringer.
Oh, they said I got to take a PCR test.
We do before NAACP.
Oh. Hope you don't have COVID.
Wow,
But they said
I
a
just
home
took
one. I didn't.
Oh, it's a different thing. I did one for another production.
Wait,
Oh.
did you guys get nominated?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. For this?
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's so
Yeah, for Marriage to Be Hard.
Yeah. We'll know by the time this comes out whether we won or lost. So hopefully these claps are preemptively
Yes,
good.
yes, yes.
And if
yes.
not, it's for the nomination.
Yes,
It's
I
for the
mean, being
nomination.
nominated is amazing.
Being
Yeah.
nominated is amazing.
Being recognized. That's
I'm
dope.
actually, listen, this is my actual truth. For Marriage to Be Hard, I'm okay with the nomination.
Okay.
Like, if we don't win, I'm actually totally okay with the
He like,
nomination.
I want to win.
If Kevin does not win this year, I'm going to be on the news
You should be.
because I am going to light the NAACP building on fire. I mean, full on Bernadine
Just walk
style.
up there and take like a
No.
hit him with a Kanye.
Kanye
Wet-
moment.
I'm gonna let you finish, but Kevin.
Oh, no. It'll be Kanye West mixed with what's my Jay-Z girl?
Lil Mama.
Lil Mama.
She's so funny.
I'm coming out
She
on the
just
stage.
got overwhelmed
Yeah,
with
with the spirit of
New York.
Oh.
She's just like,
Let
Oh.
the spirit overcome.
Oh,
Don't listen to me.
Listen,
I'm
no,
such
no,
an
no.
instigator.
I am going.
she's gonna be like,
They
I'm gonna tweet while you're doing it.
who listen to me.
Tweet me, text me as
Who
soon as it
I
happens.
will.
Like, this some
I'm-
bullshit.
I'm telling y'all right
I got
now.
y'all's back. I'm always
I'm
down for some
lighting
bullshit.
the place on fire. It will be a blaze.
No, we're not gonna light it on fire, but we're gonna light
Oh.
them on fire theoretically.
No, no, no. It will
keep you
physically
out of
be on
jail,
fire.
sis.
It will physically be on
need
fire.
you.
This will be the third
oh
year.
my God.
This will be the third year.
That's funny.
Next year, find somebody else. Find
Find
somebody else to
to
do
do
it.
it.
Get
Get
somebody
somebody else
to do it.
There's some people.
Don't nominate me.
Don't nominate me. Because at this point, this is abuse.
Bruh.
It's gonna happen. But if
I
it
hope so.
doesn't, just remember your worth is not tied up in other people's
on.
view of you.
You right.
Okay.
You
That's
right.
period. I just
Okay.
had to have that conversation with myself. However, but plus also and.
I'm not playing with y'all.
I'm not playing with y'all. Don't do me. Don't do me.
I
Don't do
respect
me.
that.
Don't
I
do me.
respect
That's
that.
funny.
Okay, anything else?
This was great.
It's freaking fantastic.
Ah, man, it was
We
great.
are-
We old friends.
Yes, we
I
have Kiki'd on
know.
today.
Old
So
friends.
excited.
Yeah.
Wait, what are your signs? I'm such a
I'm a
weirdo.
Cancer.
Oh, I love cancers.
Taurus.
Oh, earth signs. Bloop, bloop, bloop.
I thought I was a water sign. Cancer's not a water.
He's an earth sign, which
Oh.
is why.
Clearly, I don't
That's
know
probably
the
why we
thing.
both think we're
I
always
think
right.
she thought it was a.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
I
I'm
bet it
sorry. No. Pew.
Got it. I'm excluded. I feel
He's
the
an air sign,
exclusion.
you're a water sign. It's fine.
So
It's
we
fine.
covered the gamut.
Yes, but I think it makes sense now. When I meet couples, I always want to know what their signs are because Chea wasn't a believer. I think he's starting to believe in astrology.
I believe it. I just don't remember any
Trust
of the
me.
signs and what they
Jesus
mean.
asked Mary what her sign was too. It's fine.
Wait, when's your birthday?
October.
October?
December.
December.
I'm not a January Capricorn. They're different.
Got it.
Even within the group.
Mm-hmm.
Even within the Capricorns, they're different.
Oh, by the month? That's why signs with men and women are not the same either.
Oh.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Everything they say about cancers is me, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a very emotional, loyal,
Yeah.
analytical person.
Yeah, you have a very
I didn't know- I didn't-
gentle, fiery sign. It's weird. It's like you're a water sign, but you clearly have a gentle
You got,
side.
what's your 9th house or your rising?
I have no idea what you're
Oh,
asking
you
me.
got to learn your rising
You got to
sign.
learn your
That's
rising.
super
Plus your
important.
houses.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Okay.
heard this on Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't know what it means, but
Bye.
she didn't say anything. So I was like, these might be words she knows.
I was gonna ask too. I was like, that's where'd you find that?
Twitter.
You see, I was just going to have a whole conversation
The
about
rising.
something neither
I
one
don't
of
know
you
what
knew.
that means. With the rising, you get other signs and
Yeah,
houses
well, you're
and
like
stuff?
sun sign, your rising sign, and your moon sign. Those are very important things that you should know.
Your
But
birth
also,
chart.
like your Venus is your love sign, so you should figure out what both of those are for you guys. It's all important.
It's all
But can I
important.
say the person who did the reading for her that said that I have feminine energy and I'm
You
know,
were my
her
sister in a past
in
life.
a past life? This was all done via FaceTime.
Oh, snap.
Oh, wow.
They weren't even in person
Oh,
together.
remember she told me I was never having boys?
Yeah, it was crazy. And
Before
Before
then,
you
we
had-
had our last daughter.
Really?
She's
Were
like,
you
it's-
trying for a boy?
Okay, so
I mean, I
Let's
would
tell the
say
truth.
yes.
the last one, yes. The other, well, 2 of our children were planned, 2 were not.
Mm.
So the first one was like a surprise, and
It's got to be the first and the last that's surprise.
No,
Really?
First and third.
the
Yeah.
first and third.
Wow.
Yeah, no, we actually planned Tata. It was like towards the end of the pandemic,
Mhm.
and I was like, I'm about to be, how old am I? I'm 38. I was like, I think I'm about to be 36 or something. I was like, I don't want to have babies anymore. Like, I'm tired of this. I've been doing this since I was 24. Like, I just want to move on with my life. And I was like, so we could try one more time. But first, I asked multiple times for I think it was like 3 weeks. Are you okay with having all girls? Do you want to have another baby because you want a son? Or do you want to have 4 children? Because that's very different.
That's
Because
true.
we
These
probably
are good
will
questions.
never have a son.
Mm-hmm.
Even my mom told me when I had my first daughter, I walked past her. She's a little witchy. I'm a little witchy too. I'm okay with it. And she was like, "You're never having sons." It was the creepiest. I got so mad at her. I was getting mad at her telling me the truth.
So every story is the same.
my mom
Today's
told
Tuesday.
me. Right. Right. Like, who told you that? She was like, "You're never having sons." I was like, "Why would you say that to me?" That's
You
so.
did.
She was
That
like,
was your exact
"Yeah." I was
response.
so mad at her. She was like, "I'm sorry."
Oh, wow.
She's like, I just got a vision. I was like,
Dang.
all right.
Your the stories and the way that we'll close out because we've been for an hour and a half. It almost reminds me of how Tab's life is.
I was
Really?
just
Yeah.
thinking that.
Yeah, don't
Really?
don't
Oh my
bang, Kev.
God!
Don't.
Sorry. I literally was like, man, Tab be having these same things.
Yes.
And you said that in my mind.
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
It
In my
it does
mind.
remind me. I don't.
Inception.
We did
Yeah.
all the things to try to have a boy. I was like, this time we're gonna do it, and we know we're not supposed to have one if we have a girl. So like, I was doing all the calendars and
Everything.
position and the day and sperm retention, and we made the baby, and I looked at him like, it's a girl.
Conception?
Yeah. I was like, it's a girl. And I just knew it was a girl. And it was a girl. I had a dream it was a girl. Every time I
Shut
was
up.
pregnant with a girl, I had a dream it was a girl. And I told him, I was like, we're having a daughter.
Dang.
And the lady was like, it's a girl. And I was like, I know. Thanks.
No need for the gender reveal.
Thank you. No, we didn't have one because it was a girl.
Wow.
Shut
Mhm.
up.
That's crazy.
And now they're my little coven.
I love it. They're all so freaking adorable. They're just, you can see their little personalities even through the pictures.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love them girls.
Yeah, they're so adorable. Is your oldest most like you?
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
absolutely.
I can tell that.
Junior,
Yeah, I can tell that.
that's what I call her.
Uh-huh. I-
Unfortunately.
I absolutely 100% can tell
They
that.
are the same. Do you have those moments in your life as parents where you realize like, oh my God,
Yes,
Oh, man.
all the
just
time.
like your father, you're just like your mother.
It's low-key freaky.
Yes, like
Yeah.
how the mindset.
How
like, 'cause-
hardwired it is.
Yes,
Embedded in
yes.
Hardwired. And sometimes further than you are at
Yes.
that.
And
Like-
I really
Yes.
want to change it too, and I'm like, damn,
You
I
like
can't
the
even
flaws.
change myself.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I had the
That's
same
a
thought.
word.
When I see parts of my sons that I'd be like, oh, you got the bad part of me,
Yep.
but worse.
Yeah.
I was sarcastic and a little jerk. You was like, I
Yeah.
like being a jerk. Melissa asked if do you realize you be a jerk sometimes? He said,
Sometimes I do.
sometimes I
Sometimes
do
I
it
do
on
it on purpose.
I said, But I'd be that way too, but I never said it out loud. You got to lie about that, son.
It's
You
No,
like
can't live
they're
about the
loved,
you don't
so
know.
now they say their feelings out loud.
Yes.
They can name them.
Oh yeah, that'd be pissing me off too.
Right.
Shut up. Do what I asked you to do. Yeah, but why? Don't ask me why.
But feel your feelings though. But don't,
But feel your feelings.
don't tell me what
Just
they
don't
are.
say them
But be
aloud
open
to
and
me.
vulnerable,
Girl,
but hush.
Yeah.
What I asked my 7-year-old, I was like, who are you talking to? She was like, you. And she was really like, who else is in the room? What a stupid question. And I told my homegirls, I was like, we got to stop asking our kids that. Because that is really a dumb question. What we should be saying is, please do not speak to me that way.
That's facts.
That's what you said. You
Conscious
just said it in black.
parenting, yeah. But I thought, but my child clearly is not black enough to know that you don't respond that way.
No, because we be doing it different. We as black parents of today aren't the black parents of yesterday.
Those,
No.
they gone.
Yeah, they're gone.
Our parents ain't even the black parents of yesterday.
No, that's true.
That's-
I see my grandma with my kids. I'd be like, where was you in 1990?
Oh man.
I didn't even know you were capable of softness.
No.
There was always pain and fear
Here
with
go
you.
my mom. You need to understand. Well, you was calling me evil. Now I need to understand. I was an evil little witch. But understand my daughter's feelings.
My
Got it.
mom has foster kids, and I'd be like, parenting grace has lifted. Because you're just tired.
Yeah.
You're just
That's
tired.
true.
Do it
You're
again.
too old to still be parenting kids. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Just be
Yeah.
done.
I'm not gonna do it.
Parenting grace has
I'm
lifted.
not
The
gonna do it again.
parenting grace has lifted. All right, you guys, thank you. Well, before we leave, please tell the people where they can find you online and any of the projects or things that you are doing,
Oh, you can find me at Watermelon Egg Rose.
which I love your Instagram name.
Thank you. On Instagram. Really just there. And then I got a book deal last year, which is amazing.
Hey!
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank
Is
you.
it with Convergent?
No, it's with Penguin Random House.
Oh, yes,
Yes,
that's
yes,
ours.
yes. Okay.
Penguin
Oh,
Random
you
House.
went direct?
Huh?
You went direct with the Penguins?
Mhm.
We was on subsidiary. You went straight to old Penguin.
No, I went with them.
Okay.
Period.
Don't be so surprised. Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
So I'm with them, and I'm coming out with a prompted journal, so that'll be out next year. It's in honor of my sister, so it's really like a keepsake for parents to fill out to give to their kids, ideally before you pass away, so they can have like all of these things answered in
love
your
that.
name. Yeah, and then I'm working on a TV show, y'all. This year 5.
Hey!
But you know how that is. Yeah. So
man.
It takes time.
yeah, it does. But that's like the major thing. You, Chea, what are you working on?
I'm just a guy. You could find me on watermeloneggrolls.com.
I hate you. You have your own Instagram.
But honestly, like I'm not active. You know, I'm just here. I'm just support. She's the star.
Chea has so many things that he does, but he doesn't want
But
to
I
share
just
them.
want
It's fine.
honestly, like for me, I'm just a guy. Like that's all that it is.
Not
Like
just
all
a
of these
guy.
other jobs, all of these other things that we do.
Yeah.
We have a creative agency. Like
Mhm.
we really run a lot of things between multiple clients. It's just that's not important to me. Like this is what's important to me. Like what
Aw.
she's doing is important. What we're doing as a
give him some,
family is
don't worry.
important.
God,
I
dog,
got you.
Chia, man.
He
It's
is
just regular. Like
on
I don't
this
know. It
train.
just feels
This way.
like regular stuff.
I need a man bun. Maybe connect me to the soul. And I was like, dang, Chia, that was
It's
sweet.
his Buddhist upbringing. I
You
think,
know what's
though.
funny?
He's very calm.
like when you go back to the feminine energy thing, I'm like, damn, why do I have this bun today?
You wanted some braids?
And listen, like, so there's this shirt that she was gonna have me wear, and guess what color it was?
Pink
Salmon. Salmon.
with the L. Pronounce the L.
Oh, God. You
I
guys
love
are
it.
you
great.
should have wore it. It really would have.
It really would have
You know
just
you a
taken
little
it
lady
there.
man. It's fine.
Hilarious. Thank you guys. Whoa. Thank you guys so much for joining us on today's episode of Marriage Be Hard. Please make sure that you follow Ashley and Chea on the social medias. And by Chea, I mean follow. Ashley.
Yeah, don't follow my man.
Period.
I'm unfollow him. I just followed him, but he's saying not active. I don't like following people that ain't active.
No, he's not. Don't.
The
follow.
algorithm ain't
Go
gonna
ahead
shove
and
him
follow
anyway.
him.
Unfollow
Yeah.
him. I did follow Watermelon.
Yeah, thank you. I am, but he doesn't post. It's just a waste of time.
Yep.
Yeah, it is. I only see, what was this, 2016?
And is it a picture of Ashley?
It-
Yes.
it was when
His whole
Amira
page
was
is
born
pictures
at
of me.
the
It's
hospital.
actually ridiculous.
Aw.
Don't all that.
That man love you, girl.
He does. I love him too.
Oh, 3 months between posts? I'm out.
It's real.
I'm out.
I'm not even mad at it. I respect it, actually.
All right, you guys. Bye.
Peace,
Bye.
peace, peace. That was a good time.